Alright, well, we are back. CBR number 3. This is the 35-40 race. I had raced earlier in the 45-50 race, but I hit a nail on the backside of the course and punctured my tire. It actually went through the rim tape, and all the sealant leaked out, so the sealant didn't hold because it was like a complete failure. So I didn't have any wheels in the pit, so I had to withdraw from that race, DNF. So I had fresh legs coming into this race, and I think we're coming down to the last, I don't know, like 15 minutes or so of this race. And quite a few brake attempts. I tried to go, but nothing was sticking. Quite a few sprinters in this race. Kyle Cooper's leading the series, which is combined between the two age groups. So it's a combined age group, but there's whoever has the most points for the best finishes throughout the series gets to wear the yellow jersey, and Kyle's wearing the yellow jersey in this race. There's Danny Cam right in front of me. He's got a few teammates there to help him. He's a pretty fast sprinter. Definitely a guy to watch for in the finish. Now, there was quite a few hitters. Stephen Brown from Methods to Winning. There's Paul Chia. Pat Caro, Pat Boss. There's Ben Mark on the left there in the blue with the red bike. He's also a pretty strong breakaway rider who did a pretty decent flyer with 3 laps to go and held off the field for quite a while, but they ended up bringing him back. I'm racing Nationals in New Mexico next week, so this was like the final tune-up day for me. There's Rigo Mesa. He's also a really fast sprinter. The wind today was coming from our right shoulder, so this is kind of a crosswind here on this section. And this is turn 1. It's a rectangle course, but like this is a slight downhill here. They have cones on the left to let traffic slip through there, because there's a lot of trucks and delivery vehicles that come in and out of these it's an industrial park. And this is a big wide open kind of it's level right here, and then it kind of dips down into turn 3, which goes straight up a little kicker hill. There's Rostamon, Patrick Fetzer. He's had those dreadlocks for as long as I've known him. So this is turn 3, and then you're going straight up a little hill here. I have 5%. Then it levels off at the top, and then a right turn into the final straight, which I think it's pretty flat. Sometimes it feels like it's a slight, like a false flat a little bit. It's definitely not 3%. I don't know why it said that. Like 1%, and then it probably levels off right here. And there's the finish line. There's just like onesies and twosies slipping off the front, so I just figured as long as we keep the pace pretty decent, we'd stitch it all back together. I had one teammate in the race with me, that's Charles Hogan. We had kind of talked before the race that if he was feeling pretty good, he was gonna find my wheel in the last few laps, which was exactly what happened. I could hear him in my ear. So we kind of worked it out that I would kind of try to lead him up the hill. It was good training, good practice for nationals, because it was a pretty fast race, really competitive field. There's Pat Boss. He's always a breakaway threat. There's Elijah Shabazz. He had a pretty good race too. He was always near the front with us. And there's Kyle Cooper. It's this high cadence. Just kind of had us in the gutter here. I kind of like it when the pace is higher, though. It's easier to hold your position and stay in the front. Yeah, there were some danger people up the roads there, so I kind of knew that these guys here would stitch it back up because well, he's the race leader, so unless he's in a move, chances are nothing's going to get up the road. This is kind of a fast downhill sweeping, kind of a big wide sweeping right-hander. I was feeling pretty good. Usually when I do this race, I've had a complete full race under my belt. But since I only made it 8 miles into the other race, I still had some pretty fresh legs. I also had planned on doing the Pro 1-2 race later in the afternoon, but I needed to give Bart's wheel back because I had borrowed a teammate's wheel, and I just figured I didn't want to take any chances of crashing with Nationals next week, so I just pulled the plug after this race and called it good. But you know, this was a perfect training race for me. Hit Squad had a pretty strong team. They worked well together. That's them in the black and white up front. In the last few laps, you'll see them come together and work. I'll see if I can see the lap counter when we go by the start finish here. There's Mike Charlton in front of me. He's one of the NorCal strongmen, multiple state champion. He was runner-up last year at national, or the last time we had nationals in Colorado Springs in 2019. He came down to race for a last tune-up also. He's from Santa Rosa area. So it was nice to see him come down and race with us. I definitely wanted to be in the top 4 or 5 guys on bell lap coming into this turn, because everybody sprints up this hill, and then once you get out of the last turn, then it's not a really long sprint. So positioning is very key in this race. I can't recall the name of the rider there in front of me. He's on the Volet factory team, which is a really strong NorCal team. He was a really strong rider, though. He's teammates with Josh Carling and Blake Anton, who were racing over in Colorado the night before in Littleton. I think we're heading into bell lap here. So I know that I need to move up. It might be 2 to go, but I'm pretty sure we're getting close. I don't like being this far back, so I'm going to move a little bit closer to the front. You can see the hit squad guys in the hit squad and Go Fast, which is another purple team like us. Yeah, I think we're heading into bell lap right here, because it's lined up pretty fast. So I'm actually in a really good spot. I'm right where I want to be. I want to get behind the hit squad guys here. I can see them kind of starting to line it up. Matthew Easter is their fast guy. It kind of felt like they were working for him today. Lining it up pretty fast here. I figure as long as they keep it strung out like this, that's good for me. Pat tells him to switch places. That must be the lineup that they want for their lead out. But, you know, so this is not bell lap. We're going into bell lap. So both these teams in the front just kind of really flub up the lead out. They had offered a gambler's preem going into this lap too, so it was a $50 preem. So I'm not sure how that tied into this, if anybody was going for that or not. I usually don't go for gambler preems because I usually would rather have a finishing placing. That's usually my objective, rather than go for cash. Somebody coming up on my left there. But I just want to maintain my position. So here we are going into bell lap. And then these guys kind of sit up in the front. And then hit squad takes over. Matt's yelling at him to go. I kind of let John Garbo slide in here, because I didn't want to be that far up to the front. And then I'm like, oh no. It started to slow down. Pat sat up. And then the other guy went off the front. And then Monster Racing comes by, because they got that's Daniel Caldera. He's leading out. There's Matt. There's Matt Easter. So he did get in a good spot. There's Chris Hahn in front of me, but we kind of run into some riders that kind of slow up here. So I get slotted bad. Not where I wanted to be going into this turn, but still not bad. There goes Rigo. So I'm going to follow Rigo up on the right. And we're going to pass everybody.
And there's Danny Cam. So there's Danny Cam in front of me, really fast sprinter. There's Rigo Meza and Matt Easter. So I'm in a really good spot here, but I had to scrub off a little bit of speed because there's a guys on my left, and so I was in my 11, and then Kyle, he was able to keep his momentum, and he gets by everybody here. So I ended up finishing 5th in the race and then 3rd 40 plus. That was it.